You weren't supposed to hear this, but gold is about to move tomorrow in a way that will make most traders freeze, not because of a normal price swing, not because of some headline, but because something underneath the market is shifting, quietly, like a vault door closing behind you while you're still inside. Gold doesn't just go up or go down. Gold is a message, a signal, a coded transmission from the deepest financial system on Earth. And right now, that signal is getting loud. If you've been watching gold like it's just another chart, I need you to understand something immediately. Tomorrow's move isn't random. The next week isn't random. The next 30 days might be the start of a repricing cycle that separates the emotionally trapped from the mentally free. And listen, if you want real financial truths they don't teach, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss what's coming. Because what I'm about to show you isn't motivational, it's operational. Most people think gold is boring, old money, a relic. That's exactly why it works. Gold is where the elite go when they're preparing for something the public hasn't noticed yet. It's not about jewelry, it's not about shiny metal. Gold is the escape hatch from fake money, and fake money is everywhere now. The world is running on a financial hallucination. Printed currency, digital debt, numbers that can be created with a keystroke, and the average person still believes that's wealth, but the people who actually control wealth don't believe in paper. They believe in positioning, they believe in timing, they believe in silent accumulation before the crowd even realizes the game has changed. And right now, gold is being accumulated like something is coming. You have to understand the psychology of this. Retail traders, the public, they move based on emotion, fear, greed, hope, panic. They buy tops because they feel safe. They sell bottoms because they feel terror. And the system is designed that way on purpose, because the market is not a place of fairness. It is a psychological extraction machine. The whales know this. Institutions know this. Central banks know this. They don't trade charts. They trade human behavior. They trade your nervous system. And gold is one of their favorite weapons. Tomorrow, gold could spike or drop in a way that feels like chaos. But it won't be chaos. It will be liquidity. Liquidity is the hidden language of markets. When you see a sharp move that makes no sense, that's usually not retail. That's big money engineering a reaction, because institutions don't chase price. They create price. They create the move that forces retail to do something stupid. They create the drop that triggers stop losses. They create the pump that triggers FOMO. And then they harvest the emotional crowd like a field of predictable animals. Most traders think they're playing chess. They're actually being played. Because the real game is positioning before the narrative. And tomorrow's gold move is part of a narrative shift. Let me show you what's happening beneath the surface. Central banks have been buying gold at a pace that should make you uncomfortable, not because they like tradition, because they know something about currency that most people refuse to face. Currencies die slowly, not in one dramatic collapse, but in quiet debasement, in inflation, in purchasing power decay, in the invisible theft of value. You don't notice it day to day, but over years, your money becomes weaker, your labor becomes cheaper, your savings become smaller without shrinking. That is the silent reset. And gold is what survives resets. That's why the elite hold it. That's why they accumulate it in silence. Because when paper trust collapses, gold doesn't need permission to be valuable. Now here's the part that feels illegal to know. Gold's price is not just supply and demand. Gold's price is narrative control. For decades, gold has been suppressed, managed, contained, because gold is a mirror. And when gold rises too fast, it exposes the weakness of the currency system. A surging gold price is a public alarm bell. It tells the world, the money is breaking. So what do you think happens? They don't let it scream. They engineer it, they dampen it, they create artificial selling pressure through paper contracts, through futures markets, through leverage, not physical gold, but claims, ghost gold, gold that exists only as numbers. And most traders never realize they are trading a reflection, not the metal. Tomorrow's movement could be one of those engineered moments. A shakeout, a liquidity trap, a psychological operation, because when gold is about to run, they often slam it first. They drop it hard. They scare people out. They make the crowd believe the move is over before it even starts. That's how insiders accumulate. They buy when the public feels foolish. They buy when the media says it's dead. They buy when your emotions are exhausted. And the next week could be exactly that, because we are entering a phase where multiple systems are colliding. Interest rates, inflation, geopolitical tension, debt expansion, crypto volatility, institutional repositioning, all at once, and gold sits at the center like a pressure gauge. Now let's talk about crypto for a second, because this is where it gets darker. Crypto was supposed to be freedom, decentralization, escape from banks, but whales turned it into a casino, and institutions turned it into a liquidity source. They don't see Bitcoin as rebellion. They see it as an asset to exploit, a volatility machine, a way to move money fast, and trap retail faster. The same psychology runs through crypto and gold. The emotional lose, the disciplined win. Whales create pumps to lure greed. They create crashes to trigger fear. And the media plays referee for the elite. They tell you what to feel. They tell you when to panic. They tell you when to celebrate. And retail obeys. Tomorrow, if gold spikes, headlines will appear instantly. Gold surges on uncertainty. If gold dumps, headlines will appear instantly. Gold falls as investors shift to risk assets. It's theater, narrative engineering, because the public needs a story to justify emotion. But institutions don't need stories. They need liquidity. They need your reaction. The next 30 days could be one of the most important gold windows in years, not because of some magical prediction, but because of positioning cycles. Asset repricing doesn't happen smoothly. It happens violently. It happens when the system must adjust but doesn't want to admit it. Think of it like tectonic plates. Pressure builds invisibly, then suddenly, earthquake. Gold is often the earthquake indicator. And here's the twist. Most traders think tomorrow matters because of price. No, tomorrow matters because of what the move reveals. A sudden surge could mean insiders are front-running a macro shift. A sudden drop could mean a final liquidity harvest before expansion. Either way, gold is speaking, and most people aren't listening. Let me tell you something that will change how you see money. The market is not a reflection of reality. The market is a machine that manufactures reality. People don't believe something is true until price confirms it. Price creates belief. Belief creates herd movement. Herd movement creates opportunity for the elite. That's the loop. That's the control system. And gold disrupts it because gold is outside their digital illusion. That's why it scares them. That's why it's managed. Now tomorrow, watch for the emotional trap. If gold drops suddenly, most people will assume it's over. They'll sell, they'll short, they'll feel smart. But that drop could be the door closing behind them. If gold pumps suddenly, most people will chase. They'll buy late. They'll feel urgency. But that pump could be bait. This is why discipline is everything. Because the market is designed to turn your brain against you. Fear makes you reactive. Greed makes you blind. FOMO makes you irrational. And the whales, they don't need to beat you on intelligence. They only need to beat you on emotion. Now let's talk forecast. In the only way that actually matters. Not exact numbers. Not fake certainty, but probable behavior. Tomorrow, gold is entering a volatility pocket, a zone where liquidity is thin and positioning is heavy. That means moves will feel exaggerated, overreactions will happen, stop hunts will happen. By next week, we may see either consolidation after a shock or continuation after a trap. And over the next 30 days, the real question is simple. Is gold being repriced as trust decays? Because if currency debasement continues, if debt expansion accelerates, if risk assets wobble, gold becomes the quiet refuge again. And when gold becomes refuge, it moves fast. Not because of retail, because of institutions, because of central banks, because of silent wealth transfers happening while the public scrolls memes. That is the secret. We are watching wealth move behind the curtain. Most people will never understand this. They'll argue about candles, they'll blame news, they'll react emotionally, but the elite will do what they always do, accumulate quietly, exploit psychology loudly, and exit before the herd even knows they were in the room. So here is the elite lesson. Gold is not a trade. Gold is a signal, a warning, a mirror. Tomorrow's move may shock traders, but it will not shock those who understand the system. The system is resetting in slow motion, and gold is the oldest witness. If you felt something shift in your mind while listening, good. That's awareness. That's the upgrade. Now I want to ask you something. Do you believe gold is about to break into a new cycle? Or is this the final trap before the real move? Drop your answer in the comments and send this to someone who needs to hear it, because most people are sleepwalking through the biggest wealth transfer of their lifetime. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay close. Because the next 30 days won't just move markets. They'll expose the truth, and once you see it, you can't unsee it.